All right, everybody, our live stage show coverage continues. I've got Shaun from EA here to tell us all about the upcoming NHL 12. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, cool. So, obviously, NHL series, it's a yearly iteration. It's it's something that you guys do every single year. With this year's product, what are you guys trying to do to add some freshness to the series?
We got three big things we're talking about here at E3. First and foremost, we're talking about our presentation this year. One of the most requested features by our fans has been the inclusion of the Winter Classic. So we got Heinz Field in there. You can play as Pittsburgh, play as Washington, or take your favorite team in there. So, all the elements. You got the snow, the breath, the fireworks going off, and also just all that stuff impacting gameplay as well. So you see more pucks rolling, things like that. Second thing we're talking about is our full contact physics engine. So, last year for us is all about the player-on-player and the player-on-boards collisions, and now we're expanding that to everything, around on the ice surface and around the ice surface being live. And then when we talk about things being live for us, we have to make the goalies live as well. So the goalies are live this year. You can run the goalies, and on top of that, we have goalie fights too. All
right. So we've actually got a video running here showing some goalies getting beat up pretty good. It makes you wonder why anybody would want to be a goalie to begin with. You have to put on all the pads, and then you get beat up too.
Well, yeah. Aside from getting run, just stand in front of a 100-mile-an-hour slap shot. Yeah, you see some of the goalies getting run here. In the past, our goalies have been immovable objects, and when we talked about making everything live this year, we wanted goalies to be an intricate part of that, just bringing everything to life. So you'll see you can run the goalie this year, you can bump the goalie, we're calling all the authentic penalties, making sure we're true to the game. And if you run the goalie, you can expect someone to come over and want to fight you. Sometimes the goalie take matters in his own hands to fight you himself, or sometimes the other goalie come down too, and you can have a fight with both goalies. Some desperation saves here too. So again, when we talked about the goalies being live, it was important that the goalies, if they got bumped, could still make desperation saves. So this year's game, you see a lot more scrambling from the goalies. Tim Thomas-like saves in the game.
And obviously, we're taking a look at the Winter Classic. This is here at Heinz Field, right?
This is Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Yeah, you see all the elements there. You got the snow. You got the coach with the fedora there. They have the winter jackets. You got the winter crowd. So, very visually appealing, but also, again, affecting gameplay. So you'll see more rolling pucks and things like that.
And of course, there's a familiar face. All right, excellent. So we've got a number of audience questions coming in here. Matthew from Quebec is wondering about any changes to the Be a Pro mode.
Yeah, so that's another thing we're talking about here today. So, we haven't done a whole lot with our Be a Pro mode since we introduced it in NHL 09, and for people that played the mode then, they knew that one of the things that you could do is put yourself back on the ice, right away, which is not really authentic. We quickly found out when we put the mode in 09 that sitting on the bench and watching AI versus AI is not a fun user experience. So what we're doing this year, we're completely overhauling our Be a Pro mode. So there's 3 different ways to play now. You're given tasks. The whole concept is earn your ice time. So the better you do in your the game task, your situational task, the more ice time you'll earn. If you're a fourth line guy getting a couple shifts per game, there's a couple of different ways to play. You can be authentic and watch the AI versus AI. You can watch your new text sim, so brand new sim engine. You can watch the text sim and see the events that are going on until it's your turn to go back on the ice. Or you can just press a button and say advance to the next time that the coach puts me out there. So, if you're a fourth line guy not getting much time, you can play a game, 6 shifts in probably a couple minutes.
David from Winnipeg is wondering, will there be a new Winnipeg team in the game?
Oh, I can tell you. Everybody who's come through from Manitoba has asked that same question. So I can say this. I can tell you that Winnipeg will be in the game. We have that all set up already. But we're in the same boat like all the other fans out there. We're waiting for the assets to come down. So we need to find out what the team's going to be called, what the logo's going to look like, what the uniforms are going to look like. And once we get that from the NHL, as long as we get it in time before we have to ship the product, we'll get it in there. If not, we'll definitely have Winnipeg in there wearing just generic uniforms, NHL logo or something like that, and then do an update with the uniform. So definitely in there.
A lot of eager Winnipeg fans have been heartbroken since the Jets left. Let's see here. Oh, yet another Winnipeg question there. Let's see. Henry from Miami is wondering about injuries in the game. Have you made any changes to the injury system?
No, so injuries still in the game, very much like last year. One of the hot topics these days seems to be around concussions. So we have concussions in the game just like we did last year, and we treat them appropriately. So a player, if he gets a concussion, will not come back that game. He'll be out from anywhere from a day if it's a minor concussion to up to 100 days if it's a severe concussion. So I'm just trying to be as authentic as we can with the injuries and have a nice range for for good depth.
All right, excellent. Well, thanks a lot for coming by, talking to us about NHL 12. Can you go ahead and remind everybody out there when the game is going to be out in stores?
September 13th.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, so that was NHL 12. Now let's go have a look at some Galaga Legions.